What's up, fish peeps? Got a little video I put together for you about the most common tools you're going to want to keep on hand. I want to show you the tools that I keep on hand that's a constant. Some of these are disposable. Some of these things are things that you can get at places, live in your daily life. So stick around, you're going to want to see this. I might give you some ideas for things you didn't think of. And at the end of this video, please leave comments and let me know what you use, because I like to learn too. So let's check it out. On the top of the list is my most recent tool. I just recently started using this thing. I've used these over the years and they keep you hands-free, but that would be the headlamp. You can imagine how useful this would be to you in a fish room. And I find it to be awesome, keeping your hands free, being able to see. In the past, you took around a flashlight trying to find a fish that you know is in there, but you can't find it, and you're looking with your flashlight. Well, this here, you can just bend down and look, and it's going to go everywhere you look. It's all adjustable. Most of them are. And they're just a very good tool to have in the fish room for multiple things. So let's check out number 2 on this list. Now, this tool right here saves you a lot of time. That would be the temperature gun. Why this is so useful is if you have multiple tanks like myself and you have a full-time job, I have made it a ritual. Every morning and night I go around and I make sure all my filters are running, and I make sure all of my check all the temperature of my tanks, because you want to make sure you didn't have a heater fail, and you want to make sure your filter hasn't stopped running, right? So this is something I do every morning and night, and having something like this, especially if it's dark out and the lights are off in your tank and you can't see that thermometer you might have on the side of your tank, this comes in handy. And I have compared the accuracy to it to the regular thermometers that you put in your tank, and it is really accurate to it, within a degree accurate. So boom, 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 go around the room, hit each tank, you know what the temperature is. Let's move on to number 3. One time I was having some issues with an algae bloom, and I did end up buying one of those green killing machines, and with it came this. This short little brush is fantastic for a lot of things, like cleaning the impeller motor out, getting all that gunk out of there that builds up and stops the connection to the actual impeller magnet. If you get too much crud building up in them things, those impellers will stop spinning, and you need to be cleaning those out periodically anyways to prevent that issue. And this does fantastic with that, along with a lot of other things. Maybe you have a spray bar, you can take it apart, clean it out with this. They do make longer ones for things like that, which I have, but I find this I use the most. Let's move on to the next one on my list. I saved the last 2 tools as my 100% favorite tools, so stick around and you see the end. And that would be tweezers. These are Zoo Med tweezers. These are actually made for keeping reptiles. I've had these for years. I've never had a problem with them rusting, and I use these for a lot of things. I've used them to grab a hold of snails, planting plants, just a lot of different uses for this. Some of this stuff is common sense, what you can imagine what you would use, but this is a tool that I've always had in my fish room. Let's move on to the next thing. Scissors. Obviously, these scissors are designed for trimming plants. I also have the straight kind, and I also have the regular pair of scissors that you would use for daily tasks at your house. These are great for a lot of things, like trimming plants. Maybe you need to cut a piece of filter off real quick, filter media, stuff like that. But you get the idea on that. Let's move on to the next thing on the list. This is a given. Nets. I'm sure you all have a lot of these like I do. This one here is red because it is said that the fish can't see them coming. So if you're trying to net a fish, it's supposed to make it easier. But don't fall for that scheme. They still see this coming. But yeah, nets. I couldn't make a video like this and not put it on there. This next one, it's kind of common sense as well, but you can have all the greatest algae scrapers and the magnetic algae scrapers in the world, which I have a lot of them and I've used them all, and it is a great tool to have, which you can go ahead and put that on this list. But if you bought that and got rid of the old handheld one like this, you've made a mistake, because sometimes those magnetic algae scrapers can't reach where this one can, like on the back of the glass. Maybe you have your tank up against the wall and you can't use a magnetic algae scraper there. That's where this excels. This is the one made by Flipper. It's called the Flipper Platinum. And it is my favorite because you can use any credit card in here. It comes with these blades. You got a flat side. You can put it any way you want. You got a serrated side as well, and it also comes with a metal blade, which I have. Flipper sent this to me. I was doing a review on this. You can check that video out on my channel as well. So I'm going to move to the second best thing on this list that I have, and then we'll move to the first. So let's check this out. Hands down, this thing has been a lifesaver many times, and that would be this. I call it the claw. I have used this to pull dead fish out, move rocks, move driftwood. Let's say you got done cleaning all your tanks, your hands are dried off, you're going around admiring your work, but then you realize you get to that one tank and you went, oh man, I forgot to put that plant back in the soil because of that dang pleco, right? You know how they are. Some fish knock heaters off, pull up plants, and plecos are one of them among several. But this thing is nice because you can grab a hold of the plant, shove it right down in the soil, let it go, and you're good to go, along with the other things I mentioned with it. Also, what's nice about this is if you drop something behind the tank or in a reach underneath the tank, you can't get to it, this can throw that headlamp on so you get down there and you can see, use this, good to go. See, a lot of these tools you can use together, makes your life a lot easier. Now let's move on to my number one favorite absolute tool that I use all the time, and it can replace most tools you can buy on the market. You won't believe what this is. Let's get right into it. The toothbrush. There's probably uses for this you haven't thought of that I have found it works well for, such as you're cleaning your filter out. You got a bunch of snails that have made colonies in your filter and you're cleaning it out, but you got that one you can't get because sometimes your fingers just aren't enough and it's too slippery. The bristles on this brush grab a hold of snails really nice. You can scoop them up, flick it off, just keep going. It's a great way to remove snails. This is also a great way, whether you have hang in the back filters or canister filters, you can take this toothbrush and make sure you clean that seal off before you put it back together, because if you have anything on the seal when you put it back together, you have a high potential to have leaks. So it's very important to run this around them, and it cleans it off really nice before you put it back together. Sorry about the dog. You can also use this to clean algae off decor, driftwood, rocks, and your glass. Many uses I can go in, but for sake of the time of the video, you can use common sense. Toothbrush, number one tool to have on your list by far. Oh, as a bonus tool, next time you go get ice cream and you get that long spoon, save it. These are great for pre-mixing cichlid lake salt or meds or aquarium salt. Put them in a cup, which is another tool that I like to keep, no matter what cup it is. Maybe you have a Subway cup. You went to Subway and you had yourself dinner. Keep them cups. They're great for a lot of things. And keep this spoon. It's good for what I said and several other things. Feeding frozen food to your fish. Good combination for both of those. Cheap, easy to get, disposable, throw it out. Because after a while, believe it or not, these do get brittle and break apart. Same with the Subway cups. After a while, they do get deteriorate and fall apart and you got to replace it. But I mean, I didn't put a bucket on this list because a bucket is just one of them things that if you don't have a bucket and you keep fish, there's something wrong with you. So kind of like with the net too, but you get the idea. So, well, let's move on. There you have it. My favorite tools to keep in the fish room. They're cheap, easy, and don't break the bank. So like I said at the beginning, make sure you leave a comment below and let me know the tools you like to use in your fish room. Add on there something that you might use that I don't, because I like to learn too. You guys be safe. Have a good rest of the week, and I wish you nothing but good health and prosperity. Till next video, guys. Thanks again.